Hey guys, today I'm going to teach you how to play the Stevie Ray Vaughan Shuffle on guitar, so let's go. So this technique is absolutely legendary and it can be heard on Stevie's songs like Pride and Joy and I'm Crying. So I remember trying to learn this technique back when I was about 10 or 11 and just failing absolutely miserably. But hopefully I can save you guys that pain by showing you this little lesson today. I've broken the technique down into 3 simple steps, so hopefully that will help you guys understand what the heck I'm rambling on about. Okay, so just before we get into how to actually play it, let's talk about what the shuffle actually is. It's actually more of a rhythm guitar technique that's based on a 12-bar blues progression. And the shuffle is played with like a swung rhythm and it just gives it that absolutely iconic sound that we all know when we hear Pride and Joy. It's just got that real chonking along sound. So the first step is actually probably the easiest bit, which is the actual notes. I'm going to just include a little tab for you guys instead of me painstakingly and very boringly reading out the individual notes. Once you guys have got those notes nailed, the next part, the second step, is this rake. Now a rake is essentially an aggressive stroke of all of the strings backwards, so like this. So just get used to doing that for a second. Now we're going to be playing this raking motion, yet every time we rake it, our hand is going to mute the rake that we've actually just done, and it's going to sound a bit like this. This can take a bit of getting used to, but just sit there and practice that until you get that nailed. So the third step is to actually put the notes and the rake and muting together. The real trick to making this sound nice and clean is to actually mute every other string that we're not playing. So for example, when I'm strumming the first note, you're hearing this powerful action. Only the E string is ringing out, and that's because I'm actually muting the rest of the 5 strings with my left hand here. But a bit like a reverse rake, I'm strumming all of the strings. And then we'll go on to the next note, which is the 3rd fret on the E string as well. So those first 2 notes, you're blocking the rest of the 5 strings with this finger here. But when you go down to the 2nd fret on the A string, there, you've got to still block the rest of the strings audibly, but with different fingers. And that's something that you're gonna have to just get used to, anchoring your hand in different positions to work out how to get the feel for it. So for example here, look. There, I'm actually blocking that with my thumb and the rest of the fingers here. And that's the same for the 4th fret as well, look. You can only hear that one note ringing out, and again, I'm strumming all 6 strings pretty much. So you just keep working your way through each note and work out how your hand should sit, and eventually it will just become second nature. Like I can play this now and it's pretty clean. Then when you get to the 4 chord, you're simply doing the exact same pattern but moved down a string. Then when you get to the 5 position in the 12 bars, you can either do the same sort of pattern, but starting from the 2nd fret on the B string, and then go back down to the 4 position, or you can do a little lick like Stevie would do on Pride and Joy like this. Something like that, just to fill the gap, and then you can go back into the... This lesson isn't really about the notes, it's more about the whole technique and the vibe and the shuffles. So just to quickly recap the 3-stage plan, we've got the notes, which is... Then we've got the raking action, which is... Then we've got the muting of each note as we strum back down. So we've got... And again, we can add little fills in there like an A and the E, but again, we're not going to go too much into that sort of stuff. When Stevie used to play I'm Crying, he'd do such a mixture of licks and this shuffle technique. So like, so now we're going to play this technique in context, and we've recorded a little Stevie Ray Vaughan Shuffle style jam. If you guys like the tone that we're getting on the jam, we're using the mid setting on the Texan Twang. This pedal enables you to get those cleaner, more glassy Stevie tones when you roll back your guitar's volume knob. But when you crank up the volume knob, you get those really thick, tubey tones that you'd hear on like the Pride and Joy solo. So it's a great pedal for this style jam. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope this helps a bit. Let us know in the comments if it did, and we'll catch you soon. Cheers.